run anywhere.
Hey, hey, hey.
Oh, he's back. Okay. Let's get this going. Let's get this
Just a
really,
few
really going. I'm so run
technical
from the
difficulties.
COVID. All right, people. He's here. He's here. His voice is here. The best part. Fully, and now we're really ready. Thank you for working through that with us. It wouldn't be the same if the first run didn't have technical difficulties, right? Like,
Sometimes this is how it goes, but we're
oh
working through it,
man, but we're rolling with the punches. I mean, I think as educators and just people currently, that's what we're having to deal with. So keep that chat active for us. We want to make sure we're engaging with you as much as possible. As I said before, I'm Joe. Affectionately known as Zoe in these parts. I am a Black educator. I'm originally from California. And with all this free time, I'm working on getting that catering company up and running. And yeah, things are good. That's a little bit about me.
That was a wonderful intro, Joe. Hello to everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tyrell Adiemi. I am also an educator, and we work at the same school. So this is an awesome experience to still connect outside of the building at Madison Park Technical Vocational High School in Roxbury, Massachusetts.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. And I think you just mentioned something about your catering company and getting that off the ground. So that makes us both edupreneurs, right? So we're educators and entrepreneurs. So I own a entertainment service company. It started off as a photo booth company called Every Occasion Photo Booths, and we're expanding as we speak. So that's what I've been doing with my time.
Catering company, right?
Of course, including that as well.
All right. Well, we are 2B Podcast. We are partnering the next 5 episodes with Educators for Excellence, and we are so excited. You heard from a few of them. Lady was in the chat saying hi, and you've seen a couple of their other faces, Lisa, David, and Sarah. We are just so happy to be here. Anthony. So thank you. And so one of these partnerships, we love this partnership because in our minds, we think that we all really aspire to be educators for excellence. And during this time, it's more a means of how do we do that and the community building around that. So thank you for being a part of that community and helping us still strive to be educators for excellence. So today we are going to talk about transitioning. More than just like the physical transition from the classroom to online. We want to know how you all are doing emotionally. So we're going to be bringing our passions, which is being Black, being educators, and bringing ourselves up in the areas of education, being informed, being excellent, and striving just to be the best people we can be all the time. So first and foremost, that was rocky. So let's just
Take a moment,
that's what I'm needing.
Woosah, take a step back.
That's what I'm needing. So let me start this off with a quotation that has me moved. Okay. Light precedes every transition, whether at the end of a tunnel, through a crack, in the door, or a flash of an idea. It is always there, heralding a new beginning. Right?
I think we need to hear that one more time, Joe. Give it to him one more time.
All right, one more time. Light precedes every transition, whether at the end of a tunnel, through a crack in the door, or a flash of an idea. It is always there, heralding a new beginning. And thinking about that, I want to ask you, Tyrell, and I also want to ask our listeners, what is the light that you are bringing to this moment? And it could be just to this moment or maybe throughout the week. What is the light that you are bringing to these situations during these times?
I think that's an important question to ask, Joe. I'm glad you asked. When I think about the light that I'm bringing, I think what I'm really trying to bring is a continuous stream of joy, because I've been on a roller coaster emotionally. There were days I was like, oh, it's going to be fine. The other days I'm like, I'm already tired of this. I'm sick of this. I'm ready to move on. Sort of like the weather outside. It's been up and down. It's been warm. It's been rainy. We've sort of run the gamut over the last 2 weeks as we've been outside of our traditional school setting. So I think I'm really trying to bring a light of joy to our moments. So every interaction that I have being uplifting. And I feel like that's within my spirit. Just always telling people, we're going to make it through. We don't know when this will be over, but we will make it through. We will endure and persevere. So that's what I'm trying to bring. What about you? What light are you bringing to this moment?
I think that the light I'm bringing is candor. I think it's about what I bring to every situation, and with the emotional capacity I have now, I don't have much else to bring but myself to every situation. And so this has been a bit of a roller coaster ride. And I think I'm allowing myself to just like kind of feel that way. Whatever it is, I'm going to say it, I'm going to feel it, and I'm going to share it. Most times it has been uplifting. So I'm thankful that there are people like you, Ty, that are just bringing that joy and bringing that positivity, because I know that there are many a person, including myself, that really needs that person that is truly trying to bring that silver lining to various situations that we're experiencing. So yeah, I'm just bringing my truest self and the frankness that I'm feeling in every moment, and letting myself feel it. When I was thinking about this, I actually had a moment where I was like, you know what? I was dressed differently earlier and I was like, I can't. So I don't know about anybody else. And you hear a lot about like wearing, like dressing up the top and dressing down the bottom. And I just haven't been participating in either. I haven't been dressing up at all. It's been t-shirt game. Like,
you have to be true to yourself. You have to be.
It's been t-shirt game. So I was like, oh, but it's a podcast. I'm gonna be recorded. So I have to like look nice. And I'm like, I had on this shirt. And when I tell you, it just made me feel stuffy. I was like, no. Like, no. And so I put on the equivalent of like a dress up t-shirt. So shout out Anne Klein for making me comfortable.
Okay.
And also feel like I dressed up.
Sponsor alert.
We still no pants gang though. I don't know about anybody else, but like, nah. Like, come on.
We're revealing too much. We're revealing too much.
Anybody else just sitting there with the top, no bottom? No. All right. Okay. My bad.
I will let the listeners know I am fully dressed. I just didn't feel right coming to the podcast. I really believe in the look good, feel good, do good. So I had to put the whole outfit on. But that's just me. I have not done that every day, but today I felt the need.
Oh man, you already have brought that joy. Thank you. You have brought a smile to my life. Thank you, Tyrell. So in terms of weather, and again, this is for you and our listeners, in terms of weather, how is this transition going? And if you're not an educator, how is the transition? A lot of us are working at home. Shout out to our essential employees who are still out there doing those, our nurses, our Uber drivers, I'm missing things. Our food, our Stop and Shop people, like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. The cashiers at various places, so thank you. But those
Absolutely.
of you, and even that transition, if you are an essential worker, how has this transition in terms of weather, how has this been going for you?
Real quick, I just want to say, I see Lisa in the chat. She said she always has to double check before she stands up. So she feels where you're coming from.
Lisa,
I understand.
my girl, thank you. Keeping it real with me. Yeah, Ty, in terms of weather, how's this transition going?
So as I spoke about a little bit earlier, I really feel like day by day, it's a different feeling because I will admit I was pretty hopeful. I wasn't naive. I knew this was something serious, something that we all had to take up a part in to make sure we keep each other safe and care about our fellow human. But I felt like, okay, a few weeks off. Especially when our Governor Baker came out from Massachusetts and said, the original date was April 27th. I said, all right, I can accept that. We'll get there. So I was optimistic. And then when the update came before we were even in April to May 4th, I said, whoa, wait a minute. Now I started to get a little bit, a little nervous that maybe the school year will have come to a premature end in terms of the physical being. So, I mean, that's part of what brought us here to this conversation now about transitioning to an online learning system. But mostly, I'm still feeling positive because I have seen a lot of people caring for their neighbors, caring about their fellow human. I think that has made me feel good to see those images on TV. And also, I've been to the grocery store a few times, and people really trying to keep that social distance space. So that's been a positive, and it makes me feel good that we're taking heed to this information, because I know at some point in the beginning, especially, some people weren't taking it very serious and were out frolicking. So we're in a better place now. How about you?
In terms of weather, I would say it's sunny on the inside. No, it's sunny on the outside, cloudy on the inside. So I think that outside things are looking like, it's moving. I'm getting my work turned in on time. I'm making phone calls. I'm connecting with my kids. Like things are good. Like when you look at that checklist, it looks sunny. It looks productive. But it feels different in my body. I think it's a little bit cloudy, where it's just like that uncertainty, like that's bubbling up, and having to just like navigate the feelings that I'm feeling, have made it a little bit cloudy, or just those times where you just miss people. I am an extrovert, if you can't tell by nature, and I feel, just it might not have come through. So I'm an extrovert by nature, and I'm just like, where are my people? Where is touch? Where's that physical thing that I need? Where are the gathering? And yeah, we've been Zooming, and it's been good, but I've missed it. And so I think that even though it looks like it's really good, it's still cloudy, but that is an improvement, because there were times where it was thunderstorming, and there were times where it felt like it was raining, and it was just like, it's less of a roller coaster now than it was. So I am happy to be feeling cloudy. Sometimes people might say, oh, cloudy, that's not positive. But when you look at where I was to where I am now, I think I'm doing a little bit better.
That's a positive. I'm happy to hear that. I just want to touch base with a few people in the chat. I see Dana mentioned connection. Certainly that's missing, right? We're all seeking out that connection, because even though we're in this virtual sense, it's nice to be able to reach out and touch someone, to be in the same space. The feeling is just different. So I think we're all missing that connection. So I can stand by you on that comment, Dana.
Yeah, absolutely. And I, Lisa, going back to Lisa with the words, you said you can't have joy without sadness. And I think that there's a lot of things that we are experiencing right now that, now that it's gone, you're like, wow, you really are able to not take it for granted. So we are experiencing, I wouldn't say that I'm sad or not experiencing the joy, but I'm definitely experiencing the opposite. So I know when I get that back, when I'm able to like finally give a hug. I've been telling people, like, I cannot wait. The free hug shirts are coming. Like, I'm hugging everybody. Like watch out, you're getting a hug. I cannot wait to just have that physical connection with people. So I've definitely missed it, and I will definitely yes to hugs. Yes. And so what about mentally? How has this transition been mentally?
I think that, again, right, you run through the gamut. At first it feels like, okay, I can take a moment to breathe, I can decompress, because as educators, we all know it's hectic, between planning our curriculum, if you're a classroom teacher, working with our students, meetings with our colleagues, answering emails, responding to parents, the list goes on. So it was nice to take a momentary break from that, but then, you recognize that there's still a lot of work to be done, and that's part of, that transition is, okay, now how do I take what I would normally do in the school building and now do it virtually, do it digitally? So I think mentally, I have come to a place of understanding, like, this is what it is. Now let's make the best of it. Because ultimately, this time is not stopping. Even though coronavirus is here, time is not stopping. I know I celebrated my birthday last week with a little living room turn up, okay? A little living room party. And that's the best that we could do. So, I really feel like now I'm in a space to be productive, but I wasn't there in the very beginning. In the very beginning, I was more solid.
Oh, you got a little birthday shout out there. You got a little birthday. Hey, the birthday shout out's
Hey,
coming through. Aw.
hey.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Black don't crack. um, for me mentally, I saw Savvy said that the mental game is a struggle. And I think I second that. I would say it's on the up and up. I think that I've come to a place of acceptance that, like you were saying, this is going to be a while. We're going to be in this for the long game. And at some point I was like, all right, you can either fight this or you can find a way to just accept it and find ways to enjoy it, find ways to experience the best out of it. Because those are your only two options. One's going to make you miserable and the other might bring you some semblance of joy, through this process.
Mm-hmm.
And I too, when Governor Baker was like, yeah, we're not going back until May 4th, I was like, it's only a 1 week extension. But when you look at that and how soon it came, it made me feel like, whoa, all right, this is serious. Yeah.
Right.
This is serious. And so I think that through acceptance, I've been able to slowly make adjustments in my life necessary to make it so that we could really, I could find enjoyment and start focusing on, okay, this is the reality. What are you going to do about it? And when you start taking active steps, when you start being proactive about the reality, you stop letting life just happen and being in your feels. You start taking control and realizing that, like, you can do something about what you are feeling if you want to do that. So that's kind of like where I'm at. But I definitely feel like being an educator that this is like twofold. There's like, how are we feeling emotionally? And then
Right.
it's like, how are you feeling as an educator? Because yes, there's one pocket of life and then there's this other pocket of life that we're thinking about. So I don't necessarily think that those things go hand in hand. So how are you feeling right now as an educator?
You see, I had to take a deep breath. I had to step back on that one. So I think my struggle, and we've talked about it at length, is feeling like I'm actually educating, that I'm actually teaching in the full sense of the term. It really feels like I'm just assigning work. And that's bothersome to me
Okay.
because then, it's like being a substitute teacher, not that against
Okay,
myself,
I was
but,
about to say.
because I started off substitute teaching, but it feels like I am just assigning work.
Stay tuned for that segment.
And we don't,
that whole series.
Right. And as a teacher, I want to feel like I am truly helping my students deepen their thinking. I'm helping them to view the text that we're working on as more than just an assignment, but a way of creating a thought process for them that they can then take into the world. And it's difficult to make that connection, especially when it's not immediate. Because I've been hosting Google Hangout chats and Zoom calls, and sometimes I get a few students to go into those, and that's nice. But a lot of times my students are logging on, all hours of the day and the night to complete their assignments, and then they may email me or send me a message with a question. And so when I get back to them, yeah, they have my response, but it's not an interaction. It's more of just here's a question, here's my answer. So that's been my struggle as an educator, because I want to feel more effective. I want to feel like I'm able to be there when the aha moment happens.
You're missing the aha moments.
Mm-hmm. I am. I think especially because I teach English, right? So all my English teachers out there know that it's, a lot of what we work on is subjective. There's interpretation to it. How do you feel based on what the text says and what your text to world connection is, your text to self connection. And when you're not there in person, you don't get that as much. So, man, I miss that because I'm so passionate, and you are too.
I am really passionate. And I think that what I miss being an educator is actually the in part feeling effective. So I'm a moderate disabilities physics teacher. Shout out to my science people in the building. And I just feel like, am I making a difference?
Mm,
Am I actually making it so they have access? Like, that is my job. You need access to this material. Like, am I doing that? And unfortunately, my kids, my moderate disabilities kids, they specifically were not on the Google Classroom before. We were not using technology in that classroom before. And so now I'm asking them not only to just like adapt, but also like
mm.
learn this new platform and adapt and learn this material all at the same time. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I don't want them to feel overwhelmed. And I want to make sure that they are feeling like they have the means to ask the questions, that they have the means to actually access all of this without having to use like 78 different platforms. So I know people are like,
Right,
but there's this and there's
right.
this. And I'm like, I don't know about y'all, but like, that's overwhelming for me. Like when people are like, oh yeah, and this and this and this. And I'm just like,
Now is not
how
the
about
time.
none? How about
Right.
none?
Now is not the time for a super experimentation. Thank you.
Right. Right. Like we should have had, we should have had a, I don't know. There are other schools that seem to be doing a much better job at not just other schools, but it just seems like BPS was not necessarily prepared for the way that we were going to roll this out. I'm thankful that we are getting computers in the hands of every child. I'm thankful that we are getting internet in the homes or hotspots for every child. But at the same time, that is not enough to just say, and now learn. And so I am trying to bridge that gap of of making it so they're not feeling like I'm just being like, and now learn, like, because I don't want them to feel that way. Okay, and Seth is saying that he's seeing engagement levels at around 25%. How can we envision a more project-based 3D learning prepared for real learning the next time this happens? I'm
Mm.
gonna go ahead and
I think that
copy
leads
that,
us.
because I'm going to copy that. And I like that because we actually, Seth, I want you to know that we have a segment coming up about tools and trades for taking our curriculum to the cloud. So I want to make sure that we are being cognizant of that.
And I think Steph's question, it leads right into our next question, right? Is what has been the hardest part of this transition for your students, the students that you service? Joe, you tell us, what do you think has been the hardest part so far?
Um, I think that the kids miss school. I think that the kids miss structure. I think that the kids are missing
Mm,
things that they didn't know that they wanted, and when they had it, thought they didn't want. And
Might
now
not
that
be
it's
what you want, but it's
gone.
what you need. Mm-hmm.
Right, right. And it's funny how sometimes what we need turns into what we want. So I feel like the kids are saying, like, well, what am I supposed to do with my time? I had one of our kids in chat, and she was like, miss, I want to do my work, but when? And I laugh because, like, what do you mean and when? I mean, in the morning, in the second morning, in the
Right.
afternoon, like you have all of the time. But sometimes when you have all of the time and you just have too many options, nothing gets done. And I just
Mm,
feel like right now they have so much liberty that they don't know what to do with. When they've been given a whole leash. Like there's no, there's a lot of slack. Yeah. I had to think like no slack,
mm-hmm,
a lot of
mm-hmm.
slack. Um, and I just feel like they are struggling with, how do I set a schedule for myself? I don't know that they've learned these skills, because these are skills that you like slowly get as you get older. And so now it's just like, oh, well, sorry, do your work and just get it done. And I think that that's been really, really, really tough. Or like, I'm just going to stay up till 3 a.m. No, we should sleep. Like, no, you should go to sleep and you should wake up at a decent time to like not have, like, to have some structure throughout your day. And so I think that that's been the biggest thing. And of course they like us want to be with people. They want to be sharing in experiences with people. So I do feel like they're feeling lonely. So I feel like loneliness or lack of physical touch and structure are probably the two hardest things that I've seen from the kiddies. What about you, Ty?
One has definitely, it makes me think about the many conversations I've had with our executive director, Kevin McCaskill's. Um, a lot of the students that we service, the ones that their voices are not heard, they suffer from a lack of access and opportunity. And I think in this situation, and I know that's something we're going to talk about more,
It's like access and opportunity.
But I just woke up this morning to another email, and I've had several over the last few days of students that just don't have access. So some of them don't have laptops. So I've shared with them, that BPS has a program and a link that I've given them, to be able to obtain a laptop, have one delivered to their house. But also many of them don't necessarily have internet access at all times. So one student said he has to travel to his grandmother's house to get access. Two of them said they don't have access in general and they just use their phones. So I think that that's been one thing that has been a true struggle, is that many of the students that we service, they don't have a set space to do work in. It's not as if they go home and they have a student desk and 5G internet and a laptop waiting for them. Many of our students don't have that. So I think that it's a struggle for them to be able to find a work environment. And then just the other thing that I think they're struggling with is the expectations or lack thereof.
Yeah, G. Faulkner actually is speaking to that right now. He said some of my students are struggling because they were motivated by grades and the work provided, and now it can't be graded.
So to that point, right? Great comment, G. Faulkner. To that point, a lot of my students who were sort of on the fringe in terms of their participation, it's almost been sort of an excuse, a pathway for them to say now, well, I don't really have to do this work anyway. And I was halfway doing it before. And so now I'm really just going to start to slack off. And that's unfortunate because, I try to impress upon them, hey, people are still learning,
Yes.
And whether we like it or not, there are folks that are still learning at this moment in time. And because they're doing that, you need to be able to keep up, because when it comes to your 10th grade year for my 9th graders next year, you still have the MCAS. I'm sure it's going to come back at some point.
Correct.
So you need to be prepared and be ready. And more so than that, just thinking about your own learning, because learning never stops. So you always want to be accruing knowledge. So I think that that's the difficult part, is expectations. And even us as teachers, I know a lot of us have different philosophies. Like some teachers are giving all their work at once and just saying, hey, attack it when you can. Others are given 3 or 4 assignments a week. Some are given assignments daily. So the students are also struggling with that expectation of, okay, well, do I do this work now? Can I turn it in later? Should I be waking up as if it's class time and going and logging in at 7:35? So I think those expectations on a school level and then on a grand scale of the grading system has been, difficult for our students to grasp. Parents as well, because I've gotten emails about that from parents.
Well, you know what? And I think the learning never stops. Sorry. Can I tell you that the first thing I thought of when you said that was, this is a rolling, not a stopwatch. Learning never stops. For my Drake fans out there. Oh my God.
Bars.
Sorry. It was
bars.
gonna
Drop
eat
some
my
bars
mind.
on
It was gonna eat my mind if I didn't say it. So I had to candor.
Okay.
What I said was bringing candor.
Drop some bars on them.
Got it. But I was just thinking, like, how do we cultivate that feeling of learning never stops? Because I was actually in CPT today. CPT is Common Planning Time with my physics team, and one of my people, my team members, brought up, like, some of the parents are saying, well, as this teacher is actively trying to engage parents and, like, hey, make sure they're logging on, like, again, speaks to the team that we work with at Madison Park Technical Vocational High School. It's amazing. And she was met with, does the work even matter? And I'm like, whoa. I was saddened. I was saddened because this idea that, like, if it's not graded, it doesn't matter. We need to cut that down. That needs to stop, because the truth is, you should want to learn. You should want to be knowledgeable. You should, for yourself, because, that can never be taken away from you. And so I just am wondering, in these times, how do we, even though there's not really grades, and Governor Baker, I really don't appreciate what you did and how difficult you just made it for saying that basically nothing counts anymore. But how do we foster maybe not now, but like maybe moving forward as we are educators and thinking about how we impact and inform our practice, how do we make sure that we are, passing that along, that lifelong learning, that it does not stop. Learning never stops.
That's a great question for the chat. I'm looking forward to seeing some of those answers. One thing I think about now is, as we're trying to cultivate that spirit within our students, for them to be intrinsically motivated to learn, I think, I've had conversations with a few of them and said, here's an opportunity for you to take your learning into your own hands. So I'm not saying don't do the work that's being assigned by your teachers. What I'm saying is now that you have a little bit of additional time, and you have maybe those who have access to the internet especially, go research the things that interest you. So I have one student that loves cars. He's in our auto body program, and specifically he wants to build cars. He loves old model cars, especially like Ford Mustangs and GTs. And I told him now's a great time for you to go YouTube, everything you can find. Go Netflix series if you can find it about old model cars. Do your research now, so that way you are building upon your interests and hopefully gaining knowledge, and then be able to turn that into a skill whenever school does come back in session. You can then practice that skill through our auto body program or auto technical program. So I think it's a time for them to really dive into their interests. Yesterday, I guess, April is National Poetry Month. So if you're into poetry and writing, now's the time for you to just find research authors, maybe find a writing group. Those are things I'm trying to suggest with my students. So they're still learning, but maybe not in the traditional sense of, a teacher handing you an assignment and then you completing it. Go research for yourself. And I think those are the things that we keep with us, right? I think all of us know when you go seek out the answer for yourself, just like your teacher told you when you're a kid, if I give you the answer, you'll forget it. If you go find it for yourself, it'll stick with you. So I think those are the things we really want to foster is, hey, you go research this, go find out what interests you and then look it up. Maybe find someone to reach out to them. I know me and you are good about just sort of messaging people. It doesn't matter who it is, right? There's a question we have, there's some information we want, we just send a message. And a lot of times they respond. I think sometimes we put up that barrier thinking that people will not respond to us because of whatever status they have, but why not?
I've already been told no.
Right, just press send.
Oh my goodness. But you know what? Bruce brought up that some of our kids are experiencing the same things that we are experiencing the same things as our kids. But I want to remind us that some of those things might look differently than they do in us than other things. So as educators, we think it's really important that we to be informed. So Adiyemi, will you take us to this amazing article that you found that we can talk about, like how does anxiety present itself in our students?
Absolutely, I would love to. So I found an article. Do you want me to share my screen? Should I do that?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Let me see if I can share my screen.
These are, somebody was saying, what are the positives of being online? Some of the positives of being online is you can see what I can see. We can do it together. And that's actually been one of the cool things about being online. Actually, I like.
What I have done, just in case I'm not able to share my screen, is I put the link to the article in the chat so you know what I'm referencing. So there's an article that was published in the Boston Herald. So, I got to cite my sources as an English teacher. That's numero uno. You have to cite your sources, of course. And the article is entitled "How to Help Children Deal with Anxiety During Coronavirus." And this article was published by author Lisa Kashinsky. I think I got that right. I'm working on my pronunciation right there. And she interviews Dr. Fatima Watt, who is a director of behavioral health sciences.
And a Black woman.
Yes, indeed. The director of behavioral health sciences at Franciscan Children's. And she offers up some key information. So I just want to read a quick section to everyone to see what we think about this. So she says, it's really important to watch for changes in their behavior. If they're not eating, if they're eating too much, if they're not sleeping at night, or they're sleeping all day, if they're not participating in opportunities to connect with their friends virtually or over the phone, Watt said, these are all signs that a child may not be coping well and may be feeling or experiencing some level of distress. So those are all signs. And I think about us as educators, even though we're not there, I saw this mentioned in the chat earlier. I think it was Jamal that mentioned this, that a lot of our students are seeking that connection. And when we have our Zoom meetings and our Google Hangouts, they just want to talk, right? They just want to talk to us and catch up with us. And I think that even through these virtual meetings, we can see a difference. We can hear it in their voice. We can see it in their faces, and the way that they're interacting, especially those students that were already sort of the students that were quieter, that were off to the side, that you sort of made a mental note, hey, I got to make sure I check on them each day. I just want to stop by and ask, even if it's just a, how are you? You know, those are the kids you want to really make sure you're reaching out to in these times.
I like what you said there. I think that this has been for me a time that I need to remember that differentiated approach that I brought to just making connections with my students, I still need to bring here. I still need to bring that same thing to my kids here. Some of them, it's like, oh yeah, they're just gonna jump right on and be in that hangout. And others, they're not. They need me to reach out one-on-one. They may feel still really uncomfortable in a group chat. They may need that, like, can we set at a time that it's just me and you chatting? And then we ease our way into a group chat. You know, the assumption that they're gonna feel like, oh, whatever, like they're kids, they love this stuff. I think that I need to make sure that I'm not doing that as an educator. So the kids that I haven't heard from, I really have been making a concerted effort to just go out and find out, hey, how is it that you need to connect? How is it that you want to connect? And actually, I'm going to read a paragraph that stood out for me. And that's, I think it's paragraph number 4. And it says, anxiety can manifest in children in several ways, particularly depending on age. Younger kids may experience separation anxiety and want more physical contact from their parents. Adolescents may grow more irritable and argumentative. Some children may fall silent, while others may talk incessantly about the virus. And children with developmental or mental health issues that have been treated and resolved may see some symptoms or behavioral problems come back, Dr. Watt said. And so when I think of this, I think of one particular experience when we were in a tutoring meeting. One of my kids came in and refused to talk, just on, he would only talk via chat. He was muted, only talking to a chat. And one of his classmates was like, what's up with that? Like, why won't you talk? And just reminding her that, you know, but this student is here with us and we're able to communicate with this student. And it's amazing. So if it's only through typing, that's okay. Let's keep doing that, right? And then the next week, the student came on and was talking and said, you know what? I'm not here for this online learning S word, which I loved. I was so here for it.
Not
I was
about this
so
life.
happy about that. I was so happy about that because to me, it's like, it's okay. It's okay if you want to be silent. It's okay if you also want to share. The point is you reached out and perhaps in allowing you to reach out in the way that made you more comfortable, you then felt comfortable sharing more. And I think that that's an important thing to think about as educators is how are we allowing our students to be themselves during this time so that they are feeling anxiety, they feel comfortable sharing it? How are we getting them the resources that they need? Because it is going to be displayed in different ways at this time and in different ways because we're not in the classroom and we cannot see them.
Definitely. You know, I think being that we've presented a problem, something that a lot of us are saying we're experiencing, we know that our students are experiencing, I think it's only right that we then try to provide some solutions. So how do we reach out to our students in ways that we can connect with them outside of the traditional ways, right? Like all of us, I think are you know, as evidenced by, you know, being on this call right now, we know we can Zoom chat them, we can do Google Hangouts. What other ways can you connect with your students? And I know
some of us are doing TikTok.
I was going to say that. So listen, so just a disclaimer. I have not made my actual first TikTok yet. I made one before we went into social distancing mode. But I have an account. But I'm gonna tell you something. These kids, I don't know. This is the first time I'm feeling old. I don't know how to edit these TikToks. So I haven't figured that out yet. But I'm still working on it. So my debut is coming soon. Mr. A _ don't play if you want to follow me on TikTok.
Mr. A, don't play. I'm not gonna lie, I'm here for it. I'm not gonna lie,
shameless
I'm here
plug,
for it.
shameless plug. But one other way that I think of that we can really connect with our students, right, outside of maybe Zoom and Google Hangouts and Google Classroom, is I actually saw this online. So I want to cite my sources. I saw on Instagram there's a principal of a high school in Los Angeles. His name is Principal Ra. It's a Principal RAHH on Instagram. And every Monday they have an assembly. That's their normal procedure during the school year. So he decided to continue that in an online version, and they build community during these assemblies every Monday. And in this case, I saw last Monday, he actually did a virtual version of Family Feud with his students.
Cool.
And I said, oh, now that is innovative. So I saw that he had quite a bit of participation. And I thought about that as a way to garner the students' interest, because I'm sure they're getting plenty of notifications that say, hey, this assignment has just been posted. Your teacher has left you a private message. Those, I'm sure, are being sent to them, and at some point they're just ignoring them or pushing them to the side. But I think if you get a message from your principal that says, hey, let's play Family Feud, you're like, oh, I'm here for this. So I thought that was a really cool way of doing it, and I'm excited to try that. So I'm looking forward to trying that with my students, if not tomorrow, then next week.
Oh, I'm trying to participate. And Words with Friends. Lady said she's doing Words with Friends. That's really cool. I also want to shout out our executive director, Mr. Kevin McCaskill, who is an essential employee who has to report to school every day. And he is still recording the morning announcements.
Yes.
And I mean, to some that may be like, why? But I've been making it a point, and I know that my co-teacher has also made it a point I took the point from her point, so let me rephrase. She makes it a point.
Give her that credit now. Give her that proper credit.
She makes it a point to post it, and I followed in suit, because it does keep a sense of it gives a sense of nostalgia, and it feels really good. It's like, oh, we're back at school in the morning, and it's nice.
It helps create that normalcy, right? You feel it feels normal. It feels like we're still in the building in a sense, because you hear his voice over the intercom every morning.
And he has a big presence. Like his voice is distinguishable. It's like
job well done.
Yeah. He's the voice.
I don't want to tell him. Oh, maybe he's listening, but I've been writing that on my emails lately. I ain't going to tell him that. But that's my new ending.
Madison Park, have a wonderful day.
Right.
So that is really nice. And just in thinking about our kids, and as educators, as we often do, I want to pull us back to ourselves. And in being selfish, we're actually being selfless. That's how I feel. And the reason I feel that way is because we cannot pour from empty cups. If we are not doing the things that we need to replenish, to get ourselves situated and regulated during these times, how can we then give our best selves to our students? So yes, I go by this in school, out of school, online, not online. We need to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves and doing the things that we need to do. So I want to take a brief moment to tell us a couple things that I've learned that we can do for ourselves, so that we can give back and pour into not just our students, but into the other people in our lives. So I have something I've been doing for self-care is taking a class, and I am taking this class through Coursera. And Coursera is an awesome, hey, this learning never stops. Okay. Sorry. So, Coursera is a really, really cool website. edX and Coursera are two places you can go to take free, FREE, for those you commercial heads. So you can take free classes through Yale, MIT, and other prestigious universities are there, making it so that if you are a lifelong learner, they're removing the barrier of the financial barrier. And so the class I'm taking is through Yale. and it is with Dr.
Okay.
Lori Santos. She is a doctor of philosophy, and she teaches a course called The Science of Well-Being. So during this time, and it's the most popular course at Yale, about 25%, 1 in 4 students attempt to take this class at Yale, because you know what? We all are looking for ways to be happier. We're all looking for ways to bring happiness, not just in these moments, but in all moments of our life. So she launched this course in spring of 2018. And for the first time ever, because of COVID-19 and the emotional insecurities that everybody is, dysregularities that everybody is experiencing, she did a live not FaceTime, what is it called? A live thing. Sorry, haven't been on social media in 5 years, so bear with the fact that I don't have the lingo. So I tuned in, and the first thing she said is validate your feelings, validate them. You don't feel good, say it, own it. Tell yourself it is okay not to feel happy right now. Tell yourself it's okay to feel like you're going crazy right now. Tell yourself it is okay that I just am so restless beyond measure that I'm not feeling fulfilled. Allow yourself to just fully experience those things instead of fighting them and saying, no, I'm supposed to, but I'm supposed to feel this. I'm supposed to feel that. Allow yourself in these moments to just, all right, this is how I feel right now. Mm. And in that validation is this undercurrent of peace that you realize, I don't have to fight these feelings. And I am allowing myself to be okay in this space, knowing that I don't want to remain in this space, but understanding that I'm here and I don't need to fight that. I don't need to fight that. And so that's something that's been huge for me. And Tyrell, I think you were kind of speaking to that in acceptance, right? In accepting these different things. That's a form of validation,
I think that, when you think about that feeling, I think there's a lot of pressure from outside sources also to be extremely productive during this time. And for some folks, that's natural. That's who they are. That whenever they have free time, they fill it with, a to-do list of things they've been, tasks they've been looking to accomplish. But for others, I think that just adds to the anxiety of feeling like everyone around me is doing, a million things. They're writing books, they're starting businesses, they're doing their taxes, they're, building a shed, whatever it is. I mean, I've seen a little bit of everything. They're working out. And I think that in due time, for everybody, it's in due time. What your schedule looks like and how your life is situated is different from the next person, even the people that you live with. So yes. You have to weigh those things when you think about how productive you want to be in certain areas. And working on your mental health, is that not being productive?
Ooh, oh, okay.
I mean, I thought it was, right? Because if you put yourself in the right frame of mind, you'll be able to accomplish much more than what you would be doing if you were just, sort of just rummaging through things and never actually putting the focus on you.
Yo, you touched my whole heart with that. I'm not gonna lie, that hit me. I appreciate those words. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. The next point that she gave was find things to get excited about. Okay. Find things to get excited about. And these may be alternative means of doing things you love to do. And it may be difficult. I know I was talking to Tyrell actually, and I was like, oh, so I'm going to find things to get excited about. And Tyrell said, what things? what things?
In fairness, that was post-birthday. I was a little down. I was a little bit, feeling like, man, I missed my chance.
No, that's fair. And so some things to get excited about. Yo, this podcast is every week, Thursdays at 2:00. I don't know about you, but I am very excited, at least through the month of April. Thursdays at 2:00. So tune in. That is something to get excited about. Make phone dates with people. So I have a weekly cousin chat. It's something I started and we didn't even know we wanted it. Oh my goodness. Now every Thursday at 8:00, I'm super excited. I get to see my cousins. We get to laugh. set dance parties. People have been telling about the dance parties they're having. Yo, DJs on Instagram are going live. Have a dance party in your
Artist.
kitchen. Artists. It's a great time. Yo, I bought stocks and I made I had a bake date. I baked a coffee cake. Like, you know,
Okay.
like these are exciting. These are alternative means of finding things to be excited about. For example, today is National Burrito Day. So like, you know, that's exciting
Is that right?
Chipotle is giving you free delivery and free queso. So like,
Say what?
Say what? So I'm just exactly find things to get excited about. And if you are trying to shop or buy local, go buy a burrito from your local Mexican restaurant, taqueria. Like, come on. These are things, alternative ways to still be getting excited about different things that that are happening. Make the mundane the opposite of mundane.
Joe, I don't want you to gloss over this real quick. Just touch on, you said you bought stock. What stock did you buy? How did you decide
man,
it?
I'm
Is
not
there an
gonna
app that
lie.
you used?
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure I made a great stock choice. So I like intentionally left that out because I'm like embarrassed now, I think.
Why? No.
Okay,
Bring that to the community. We can all learn together.
So
we may have a stock expert in the chat.
Oh, Jesus. Hey, anybody do financial things? Help. Let's keep it together. My stock is failing. So I brought Sprint because Sprint is merging with T-Mobile. And
yes.
Sprint is, and gold is where it's at. Correct. Agree. So Sprint is merging with T-Mobile. And Sprint stock was $8 and T-Mobile stock was like $83. So I was like, well, if they're merging, can't I buy? Okay, listen. This is not, Joellen doesn't know anything about stocks time, so we're just going to keep moving on. But I used Robinhood.com. And if you are going to use Robinhood, if you're going to use Robinhood, then let me give you my link so we both get a free stock. The next thing that we are moving on to is my married folks. So that is not myself, but Tyrell. Oh, she liked it, so she put a ring on it.
Whoa, wait a minute. I think I put the ring on her. Wait a minute. Okay.
Oh, wait, that's wrong. That's a single ladies dance. Oh, yeah, that's my dance.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but hold on now. Hold on.
So I want y'all to practice this dance move. It's called lean in, lax out. Lean in, lax out. I wonder if anybody was doing that with me.
Somebody did it. I felt it. I felt it. Somebody did it.
So what this is saying is that we all know that there are amazing things that we found about our partner, that we love about our partner, that maybe we're just kind of forgetting in these moments when you're looking and the trash still isn't out, and you're looking and the dishwasher isn't loaded, and we're looking and, you know, you done shaved all over the sink again. And you know what? You just like, where these divorce papers though? Like, cause I ain't got no type of energy for this.
Whoa. I know you're not trying to suggest people get divorced during the quarantine. Wait a minute.
But actually, divorce rates may raise during this time as well as baby booming. So there's a little bit of both. But what Dr. Santos suggests is that you lean into the things that you love about your partner. Lean into those things. Make time for those things. Make time to do the things you love to do together. And maybe that's dinner. Maybe you need to cook dinner together, seeing as we're not going out to eat. Or maybe you go get takeout from that restaurant and you fancy it up a little bit. And lax out, relax, be lax about those things that annoy you. Because the truth is, they're annoying you so much because you have so much more time to look at them, to notice them. So if you're going to be in these close quarters anyways, why don't you just lean in to the things that you love and lax out about the things you don't? It makes everybody a little bit happier.
I definitely agree with that. As a married man, I would say that my wife and I, we haven't been extremely intentional about how we spend our time during quarantine, but there have been a few things in particular. Like we've sort of recognized when we need to take space away from each other, whether it be go to another room, take a walk, just because we live in an apartment we're sort of always in each other's space, that we get a little time away. And then also find some things that we can do together. So we played Scrabble. I think that was like our first night. We played Scrabble together. I won, by the way. You know, no, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying. And then, last night we actually had movie night as well. Some people fell asleep. I'm not calling anybody's name, but I watched the entire movie.
I mean, did you pick a boring movie or like what?
No. I don't know if I should say this on the air. It was Bad Boys for Life. But if you need the link, holla at me off the chat. Okay. Okay. But it was we had seen that movie in the movie theater, so it was nice to see it again. But we've had movie night a few times. We've watched Bad Boys for Life. We watched Just Mercy. We watched The Banker. So a few different movies we've been able to partake in, and that has really been a nice experience. Get a little kettle corn popped, and
Ooh, you're a kettle corner too? I love me some kettle corn.
Mm-hmm.
Give me that sweet and salty. Sounds like my life. Okay.
Yes, real quick, Mr. Shahi said Ozarks. I got it queued up. I'm working on that. That's coming this weekend. I'm gonna start that.
Fire stick is life. Fire stick is life. Domestic abuse is up to. Oh, domestic abuse is up to. Sorry. Do I use a clock? Wow, I should read these comments in my head. I am sorry.
That's fine. I also wanted to, real quick, I just wanted to shout out because I know that E4E, right, Education for Excellence, I believe they're having a movie night.
Oh, yes, that is mañana. That is tomorrow at 3 p.m. We will be watching the Madam C.J. Walker series, and we will be doing that through a Netflix party. So, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Netflix party. So, we need you to download the Netflix party extension, and it is going to be a talk fest just like this. It's a place where you're watching it and commenting. I don't know if you guys like talk to your screen. I won't name names. Might do that. But this gives you an opportunity to talk while and express yourself while watching this. And then we're gonna have a Zoom debrief because I know some people already have some ideas about whether it's as representative as it should be. And so we're gonna just talk about that. It's a safe place to just express those thoughts as you're having them, because I think it is a little bit charged, and so that'll be great. I am actually looking forward to that.
I am here for that, and I know that's a segment we're going to cover in our future podcast about movie reviews. So I'm here for that. I'm ready. 3:00 tomorrow on Zoom. Be there.
Correct, or be square. So. So as much as we like to just focus on us, for those of us who have parents, okay, for those of us who have kids, for those of us who are parents and who have kids, something that is really, really necessary, Dr. Lori Santos said, is set a schedule. Set a schedule. Please set a schedule. They are crying. They are crying for the structure. Okay. So please set a schedule for them. Don't let them go to bed at like 3 a.m. on a random Monday. Have them go to sleep at a normal time. No, we're not playing video games at noon. No, you're going to wake up. You're going to go online. You're going to go to school. You're going to do your work.
Mom, what about recess?
Okay, and maybe make some time for recess.
Mom, when's gym class?
that too, and then go let them run outside. Teach them about social distancing and washing their hands well, and then send them to run outside. See, Anthony says video games from 5 to 8.
I like that.
But make sure that learning happened from 9 to 5 first, or something, right? Because we're lifelong learners, and that learning never stops. So that is just something for my parents out there to take note of. Give your little ones a schedule. They've been asking us to tell parents what to do with their kids. It's actually been slightly amusing. And that's the one that I've been saying. Set a schedule. Tell them no. And then this last tip actually comes from my co-host, whose opinion I value.
Thank you.
And he said, be a model for the students. Be a model for the students. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you know, like tell them, like be in your workout clothes, even if you have no intention on working out, like me.
I did not say that part.
He did not say that. That's me because, you know, did start a 30-day challenge yesterday. So we're on day 1. Woo, success.
Okay.
So be a model for them. Show them that, you know, what structure looks like. Show them that right now you are continuing learning. Refrain from saying things like, I'm so bored, because they are also bored. And Dr. Lisa Gonzalez, who is the director of Teach Next Year at UMass Boston and the professor of human development, which is where I got my first master's, she said during one of our classes, oh my goodness.
Small flex. Ooh.
She said that our young people need to first be presented with an idea before they can come to the idea themselves. So I think that that's exactly what you were alluding to. We need to present them with the ideas to be successful so they can internalize it and then feel like they came up with this idea on their own. And so I think we should be doing little steps to do that, you know?
I definitely agree. I mean, you mentioned the workout clothes and actually going to work out. I've been trying to put a few miles in. I'm hoping that, you know, when I come out of this quarantine space, I'll be a few pounds lighter, along with being mentally lighter as well. So that's one thing I'm working on. And I think also, you know, you think about these experiences that you can create, where I talked about playing a board game. I think you can do those things as well. So that helps to bring your family together in a moment where, all right, let's all share in this together. Maybe we're playing Sorry or Scrabble or Taboo. That's my favorite game. So I'm ready for the next E4E game night. As soon as this is over,
yes,
I'm just putting it into the air.
So everybody knows. Oh wait, sorry, I'm getting excited about things that aren't on the table yet. But we are working on like virtual E4E game nights. I'm so excited. If you couldn't tell. Oh my goodness. Okay. Have no chill. Remember how I was bringing candor? Oh my goodness. So the next part is we are completely switching gears, and there has been so much like things that we are working through, but there's also been so much good news. And so in this segment, to be heralded, we want to shout out, we want to bring Lauren Gooden to shout out one of her students. Lauren, are you with us?
Hey.
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 Hey. Lauren, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the awesome things that you do?
Yeah, sure. I am a teacher with Joe Ellen at Madison Park and Tyrell as well. Joe Ellen and I do science, so you know, science is the best. Let's be real.
We're real.
Yeah, I teach biology. It's pretty sweet. I see a lot of 10th and 11th graders, and it's been awesome. The best thing is meeting like the best humans in the world, which has been my students.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lauren, I know that this time has been a transition for you as well. Can you tell us about how this good news kind of helped shift what you were experiencing?
Yeah, definitely. You were talking earlier about pouring from an empty cup. I think my cup was getting empty. You know, I felt myself like spending time all day in front of the computer and working, like trying to work 24/7, which like doesn't really result in a lot of work getting done for real. So yeah, I was feeling like my cup was empty, and Friday night I was really lucky to get an email that really fueled me. I hope it fuels y'all too. This student I worked with, he's a junior. He emailed me, and he was really awesome, to say the least. He's super hard worker, had just transferred to Madison, really super motivated, high hopes. You know, he really liked MIT and liked engineering and especially math, and had tons of curiosity and drive. So he was awesome. He did come to the realization a lot of the time that he wasn't getting the same resources as everybody else who was looking at schools like MIT and Northeastern. And the kind of unfairness and equity in it, and which was a bummer. But his response really was just like double down, work harder, do more. he didn't know if he'd get the opportunity to take calculus and just decided to teach himself AP calculus over the summer and then take advanced courses
Learning never
through our
stops.
Yeah, he took like next level calculus
He
through
certainly
the
embodied
awesome
that.
dual enrollment program. Yeah, he killed it. So he was a superstar, and I really hoped the best for him in college, and he emailed me to let me know that he got into Northeastern, and not only did he get in, he got a full merit scholarship.
Hey.
So that was just the most exciting thing.
Okay.
We don't often get to see our students get what they have worked so hard for and totally deserve. I'm so proud of him. I'm so happy for him. I just can't wait for him to get to do all the awesome nerdy stuff he can't wait to do.
Yes. Lauren, thank you so much for coming on and sharing that with us. There was no way that we could have done it justice if we had tried to do it ourselves. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That definitely was uplifting. And I think, you mentioned it, Lauren, that especially if you're not maybe if you teach seniors, but oftentimes we don't really get to find out all of those great things that happen after, they leave our classroom, after they leave our grade level. So for that student to reach back and email you, that is just phenomenal.
And again, speaks to the passion and the impact that you clearly made in that student's life.
Yes.
It was a gift. It fueled me. The next night I got like 2 weeks of assignments posted. I'm ready to go. I was like, this is why we should do it, right? This is why I should work hard.
Do it. I love that, Lauren. Yes. And using that to like just drive us forward and in what we're doing now when motivation seems like it could be waning. Because are we being teachers right now? Okay, thank you so much, Lauren. So we're closing out. We want to again thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us right now. Thank you for being here with us. And in closing, I want to tell you that Dr. Nancy Molitor says when we are bored, we tend to focus on negative things in our lives. And yes, during this time, we have many the opportunity to be bored, right? But as we navigate this novel time, instead of being transfixed on the negative, we need to make time, I think, to acknowledge the blessings that we are also experiencing, right? For example, the fact that we could all tune in today, a blessing. The fact that, I personally am feeling very healthy, another blessing. And it might not be something that we're making the time to focus on. So we are challenging you. Okay, we are challenging you to be thankful. So over the next 7 days until our next podcast, we want you every day to write down 3 things that you are thankful for. 3 things that you are thankful for. Shift yourself into a spirit of gratitude. And we would hope that maybe you would consider sharing some of those with us on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Please come and follow us and share. And we want to hear some of the things that you've been experiencing, just like Lauren shared with us. We want to know what you guys are thankful for, and we'll hope that you will share that with us. Moreover, don't forget, Madam CJ Walker, tomorrow at 3
o'clock sharp.
3 o'clock sharp, download the Netflix Party app. I cannot reiterate that enough, because it will not work if you do not have it. You won't be in the chat, and that is the best part. So please download the Netflix extension. Come talk with us, come chat with us, and make sure you're following back. We are 2B Podcast on all of our platforms, and we'll see you next week.
Hey.